Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. It's Sunday evening, so that means it's time for SKR. Of course, we're here for Season 8, Round 11. We're in the Netherlands, of course, at the Zandvoort circuit. As usual, we have a short quali session, just 18 minutes for all the drivers to get around, set their best lap times. That will determine the order for the race. I believe we have a 36 lap race ahead of us a little later on this evening, but first drivers need to get through qualifying. Not the easiest of race circuits for overtakes. Of course, your biggest and safest opportunity is into turn 1. The rest of the racetrack can be a little tricky. 17 drivers. Makes qualifying even more crucial. Remember, it was 18 minutes. 1.5 minutes has already gone away, so just 16.5 minutes remaining. Nobody has set a lap time just yet. Find yourself starting at the bottom of that order. You've got a handful later on. Welcome to Citizen, of course, Visor, Death Queen, Skull, everybody in the comment section. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for supporting the stream. Of course, we're riding now with one of the two Ferraris. This is Harsh Cartoon. He's starting his first quick lap of the evening. A lot of drivers complaining prior to the event that they had not practiced, they had not prepared for this Zandvoort layout. So we may see one or two of the quicker drivers making unexpected mistakes. Awakes becomes the first retirement of qualifying. Fortunately for him, it is qualifying and not the race, so he'll be able to start at the rear of the field. Visor bringing up the team championship. There is your team championship. Ferrari lead the way, 180 points. Red Bull not too far behind, 160 points. And then Mercedes still very much in it, 152. Remember, 2 rounds remaining, including this one. So still 2 opportunities to get points. And if Ferrari find themselves having an unfortunate evening, well, then that championship can swing around very quickly. For the time being, Ferraris, the only 2 cars to have set a lap time, they were P1 and 2 for a short while. Skull has put the Aston Martin up into P2, then Smurf took it away, then Pantry Star took it away. So, I was going to say nobody managed to take it from Virus, and then it's Ferrari, 110.3, your new provisional pole sitter. Still a lot of drivers out on track. This is the Alpine going around that final banked corner, and what a corner it is. Convoy, no problems there. 109.9 for his first run of the night. He'll be happy with that. That's not what you want to be doing. We join Revolution at the wrong time. He's just having an off-track excursion. Hopefully he'll be back underway. Spikes in P16. Of course, no lap time from him. Both Red Bulls. We have both Red Bulls? Yes, we do. Spikes and Mr. M. Of course, we just said Red Bull's still very much in this title fight. Just 20 points the difference between the 2 teams. It's going to be absolutely crucial to get both those cars in the points, and hopefully as high up in those points as possible. Boinky's going around slowly. He's still looking for his first lap. Levy on an outlap, Big T on an outlap. I think this is the man on the move, Spikes. He is on a quick lap. He's about to go over the line and set his first time for the evening. Should shoot him up the field, it does, puts him up into P6. So after the first round of laps, you can call it, Convoy, the fastest man out there, 109.9. It's cleared P2 by 0.4 of a second, so it's for P2, 110.3. Then the times get awfully close. Virus, 3rd place, 110.4. Pantry Star, 4th place, 110.4. Smurf, P5, 110.4. So, what is that? That is 0.07 of a second, covering 3 cars. Absolutely nothing in it between these drivers. Virus, Pantry Star, Smurf, and, well, Skull's got a 10.5. Spike's a 10.6. 2 10s covering 6 cars. Insanity in the midfield. Out front, It's Convoy. He's out for another lap. That first lap was a 109.9. Does he find an improvement? Yes, he does. He takes another 2/10 off it. It's a 109.7. It's moved the goalpost. How does the field respond? Of course, one of the shorter circuits on the calendar, Zandvoort. Drivers do get around here relatively quickly, just the 1.10 lap time. Of course, come 2026, you can expect these lap times to look very, very different. Big T goes up into provisional pole, 109.1, faster than anything we've seen this evening by an entire 6/10. So the McLaren going into provisional pole at Zandvoort. I wonder where you've heard that before. This is Harsh Cartoon in the second of the Ferraris. I think he's lining up a lap because his battery's fully charged. Going to see it start to deplete pretty quickly. Then he's going to open up DRS, head down this straight. Go here into turn 1. This is the best overtaking opportunity really on the racetrack. Also the safest one. Everywhere else, there definitely are overtaking opportunities. We saw that in the Grand Prix earlier on this today. Passing anywhere else requires a little bit more bravery if you're looking for the safe pass. Turn 1 is probably your only option. Wait for DRS, wait for turn 1, wait for the brakes. Said they get around here pretty quickly. Harsh Cartoon started his lap not so long ago. We're coming to the end of that lap. So the man in provisional pole gets pushed back into the pits. That's Big T. He's fastest by quite some margin. Convoy, he would have been feeling pretty comfortable not so long ago. 109.7, now not so much. He's got to find 6/10 if he's going to elevate himself onto that pole position spot. Convoy, P2, then Levy not far behind. He's in the 109s, 109.8 and 109.9 for Virus. Times so close together at the front. Still all to play for in qualifying. Poinkies is currently at the rear of the field. Least of the drivers still in the session. Revolution and Awakes will take no further part in the session and will start in those positions, P16 and 17. Poinkies though doesn't have to start in P15. He's still out on track. He can still improve and he still has just over 8 minutes to do it. Probably didn't appreciate me commentating on him there. Just losing it there. Able to hold on to the car and hopefully he's able to hold on to the lap because he needs an improvement. It's a 1:11.8, his current best lap time. Is he discharging that battery? Is he going for it? Seems like that is the case. Is there an improvement? 1:11.8, surely there is. Finds an improvement, but only in time, not in position. Goes from a 1:11.8 to a 1:11.5, and still much work to do around this Zandvoort layout. Of course, the current layout just 4.2 kilometers. Similar in length to our very own Kyalami. In fact, very close in length to our Kyalami. That's why we have a 36 lap race. Of course, the shorter the racetrack, the more laps we get, because regardless of where you are in the world, where you are in the calendar, race distances remain the same. Of course, F1 100% distance, that's a 300-kilometer race. 305 actually, for some reason. Of course, here in SKR and, well, all the other leagues we broadcast on this channel, these are 50% leads, which means we just run half the distance. 36 laps around the Zandvoort circuit. A full race would be round about 72. Last time South Africa hosted a race, it was 72 laps. Pfizer just saying in the comment section, best league. Definitely have to give credit where it's due. There's great participation, close racing, quality racing, and a handful of aliens at the front. That's what SKR is about. And it's a fantastic way to finish off the weekend. So Big T leads the way. 109.1. That is the fastest we've seen. The next best time is 3/10 down. So Convoy did improve on that 109.6. Went to a 109.4, but it's not quite enough. And I think this may be his third run. So I wonder if he still has tires left to do another run. Levy's still very much in the conversation. Keep on forgetting to mention him, but he's there in P3 with a 109 of his own. 109.8. It's on the wrong side of the 109s. Wants to get into the low 109s if he's going to take pole position here tonight. And possibly 108 is still on the way. Provisional pole sitter is out on an outlap, and he's going to look for an improvement. Pfizer asking for news on the League League. I think some things are still being ironed out. But when I have solid details, I don't want to talk about anything that's not confirmed, or anything that's not, or anything I heard incorrectly. So once I have more solid details, I'll definitely talk about it on the channel. For the time being, as I understand it, similar to what we did before. Of course, before was just the 3 rounds. This is going to be a much longer format. Of course, running a 12-round season. And if it's anything like what we got from the 3 rounds prior, we're in for something very exciting. Big T has gone purple in Sector 1. He's followed it up by going purple in Sector 2. And now he's going into that all-important final banked corner onto the main straight. Is he going to be able to hold the rest of the lap together? He does peel into the pits. He peels into the pits. Big T will not finish that lap. I wonder if something went wrong there. If that's a very weird mind. If it was mind games, it's mind games I don't understand. It's purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2. Maybe the advantage wasn't as much as he would have wanted. Still time to come in, put on a fresh set of tires and get back out there. Remember, a short racetrack. So you only need about a minute and a half to get around here on an outlap. Just over 2 minutes remain. Of course, also returning soon to the channel, SAFRL will be back. League v League will return on Tuesday nights. Of course, DRS still in their season on a Thursday. Channel has been a little quiet for the past 2 weeks. Things are going to fill up pretty quickly again. Big T came into the pits and he is back on an outlap, so the only thing that suggests to me there that he was purple, but he thought he could go much faster. So he's come in, put on a fresh set of boots, and he's going to have another go, looking to improve on what is already an incredible time. We're not going to see any sort of defense from Convoy. There's no time left, just over a minute to go, and he remains in the pits. So we're riding with It's Free. Doesn't appear to be on a quick lap, or is he on a quick lap? Virus in P4. This is the top Ferrari driver of the evening, the second one, Harsh Cartoon, down in P13. Liza may even make a return for the League v League. The comment section will be poorer for it. Liza not so active on the race circuit, but he's always active in the comment section, always showing his support for SKR. It's a good fan to have, loyal fan. Virus, he's returning to the pits. No improvement on the cards for him. This is Lebby, he's just gone purple in Sector 2. Something could be on the way. He's currently in P5 looking for an improvement. 109.8 was a great lap time not so long ago. Now, not so much. Does he find an improvement? I think he will. Yes, he does. Goes up into P3. Usually the sign of an improvement is the driver not peeling off into the pits. So if the driver is in the red, he's usually not too interested in finishing the lap. He joined Big T momentarily too late. He does improve, but unfortunately, we're not getting a 108 tonight. That's a 109.001. A thousandth of a second on the wrong side of things. We got so close. Does anybody else have a 108 in them? It would take something special. Spikes goes over the line. He's going to finish P5. Still waiting for the likes of Divan. We're waiting for Andre. Those are the only two drivers who could improve. Divan's actually just gone quickest in Sector 2. So the purples lighting up everywhere, as we saw in qualifying yesterday at Zandvoort. That was the track improving. I think this is just the drivers growing in confidence. Divan over the line, improves up into P4. Very nicely done. Left the best for last when it counts. It's a 109.7, and he's going to join Lebby on the second row. This is the driver we were focusing on at the end. Fantastic lap at the end, put himself up onto the second row, give himself the best opportunity for this race. And now we have to get through the results really quickly because there's a lot of drivers. So Big T takes pole position. Then he's followed by Convoy, Lebby, Divan. It's Free, Virus, Spikes, Pantry Star, Smurf, Andre, Skull, Top Gun, Mr. M, Ulrich, Harsh Cartoon, Boinkies, Revolution, and Awakes. Just the 6 viewers here tonight, but good to have you. Of course, the video does get a lot more views after its live broadcast. But if you are in here, please remember to leave a like. Always helps the channel. And if it is your first visit, remember to subscribe. Now that qualifying has come to an end, we look at the empty pit lane one final time. Cars are all to the right of your screen, lined up on the grid, waiting to go. Drivers will be doing final adjustments. Of So I'm not, unfortunately, in communication with any of the drivers, so I can't confirm any weather conditions. Going to have to keep our eyes on the skies, and if things do start looking a little dodgy, well, the drivers won't be hoping for it, but I think everyone watching wouldn't mind a little bit of rain. Another thing to remember is we have 17 drivers. We have a very busy lobby tonight around a very twisty Zandvoort circuit. Guys are going to have to remember to give each other space on those first few laps before the field is able to break up effectively. And one thing I haven't spoken about yet is penalties. So many penalties. We've seen so many penalties in Zandvoort. And hopefully tonight everybody can behave, stay within those white lines. We've seen people having podiums taken away, having race victories taken away when they clearly won the race on circuit, except for a few silly incidents. Evening to Nas. As far as I know, assists are allowed on this league. I believe they are open. I think there may be one or two that are slightly restricted, not to be able to use it to its full effect, but assists are indeed allowed in the league. Of course, we do have different leagues on this channel. They all vary in their rule set. Some may apply things a little differently. Just gives everybody an opportunity to race, whether you spend hours on this game polishing up your driving, whether you can't do that and you can just join casually, gives you the ability to do so. And that's why we've had a really nice looking lobby at SKR for the past couple of weeks. The lights come on, there's going to be 5 of them, they're going to go out, and we're going to be underway. We don't get the best camera angle, but luckily it switches over, and unlike this afternoon, McLaren does hold the lead into turn 1. Big T leads the way, Convoy P2 not far behind. Looks like everybody got through that first sequence of corners nicely. Don't see any carbon fiber flying around. Ivan's made up a position early on. He has disposed of Levy, so he's gone up into P3, Levy down to P4. Then we've got his Fury P5, Spikes P6, then Pantry Star, Virus, Andre and Smurf making up the points paying positions. On the other side of the points, Skull P11, Top Gun P12, Mr. Rem 13, Harsh Cartoon 14, then we've got Ulrich Boinki's Revolution, and a car squeezed in. Before the race we had a field of 17, now we've got a field of 18, so it's a busy racetrack. It's not going to just be all about who's the quickest man on the racetrack. It's going to be about who is able to be the quickest man on the racetrack and still behave themselves. We've seen many penalties handed out at this circuit. I think as recently as Friday night, we saw almost an entire field pick up penalties. That was in a test race for another league. Unfortunately, that was not broadcast on NFR because I was driving and it was a mess. Big T still leads, Convoy still P2, then Divan, those cars very close together. Then Levy just starting to drop back. So important to stay within the DRS. Of course, two opportunities on this race circuit to open up your DRS. Once you fall out of that DRS, it becomes a lot more difficult to hold on to the cars ahead of you. We've got a caution. I think, is that a Red Bull? It's an RB at the rear of the field. Let's just try and get a look at that RB. It's the RB of Revolution, and he is back on his way. And we join just in time to see Convoy using that DRS zone, using that turn 1 to take the lead. Thought Big T was going to fight back, but then just thought better of it. Thought, let me slot in behind the Alpine. Leading so far, I've got the pace to get in front again. Just get in DRS, charge up that battery. I wouldn't call them hacks. I'd say a hack is when you do something third party and you're basically breaking the way the game works. These are assists offered by the game, and of course, if it's within the rules of the league, then whether you're on no assists or on full assists, everybody is on an equal page. Big T retakes the lead of the race. Same place where he lost it just a lap ago. These two maintaining pace, staying with each other, matching each other lap for lap, trading places. Divan, we saw Levy losing touch. He's since been passed by SAFRL. Now Divan just starting to show those same signs of losing touch with the top two. This looks like it's going to be a race between Big T and Convoy, unless weather or safety cars has anything to say about it. Of course, we spoke about SAFRL. He made up a position, so Levy's lost 2 since the start of the race. He started in P3. Then we got the first of the 2 Red Bulls. Remember, the Red Bulls are fighting for this constructor's title. We've got the 2 Ferraris on 140 points. Then the 2 Red Bulls, the next challenger in the championship, they're on 120 points. It's just 20 points adrift. Of course, if you do get yourself a 1-2 and a fastest lap to boot, you can get yourself a maximum of 44 points on a race night. So lots of points are available. And while the Drivers' Championship has gone one way, there's still so much to play for in this Team Championship. Of course, the leaders in the Constructors' Championship currently down in P7 and P12, so only one of those Ferraris scoring points. Same situation really for the Red Bulls. One Red Bull up in P5, the other Red Bull down in P17. Big T leads the way from Convoy, but he has in no way been able to shake him off. Those cars as close together as they were at the start of the race. It's only lap 5 of 36. We've got a caution that I'm hoping goes away pretty soon. And it does. Still the same at the front. Divan still P3, but now falling into a little race of his own. He's fallen adrift 1.5 seconds from the 2 leaders. And he's got a comfortable gap behind him. That's why I say he's in a bit of a race of his own. It's Freeze in P4, but it's not a comfortable P4. He's got a DRS train forming behind him. It's followed now by Spikes, which means Levy's lost another position. Wonder if there's anything wrong with that car. Is he missing any carbon fiber, any important bits? But Levy is falling down the order. And he needs to regain his composure and start going up the order. Virus P7, then Andre P8. One of the Aston Martins in the points. Both Haas cars in the points. Chat is very quiet tonight. I'm not quite sure why that is. We have nine viewers in here. Seems like only 2 or 3 are commenting. course, guys, give me predictions. Any predictions? Give me predictions. When do you think these first pit stops are going to happen? Predictions on your podium. And of course, if any of you are in contact with one of the drivers and you can confirm the weather for me, let me know. Just bring up the tire screen for the first time in the race. You guys and myself can all get an idea of what's happening where. Big T, well, his race just got stronger now that I brought up that tire screen. He was matching Convoy lap after lap, but now we see he's actually on the medium tire. Convoy should have the grip advantage at this stage, but Big T able to match him on the medium. Since it's free in the RB, and if you look back, you'll get a little bit of a fright. There's a long DRS train behind him all the way down to P11. And for now, can't think about that DRS train behind him. He's just got to concentrate on what's in front of him, make sure he hits every apex, make sure he hits every braking point to perfection, manage that battery as much as possible. And I think we're going to see an overtake like we saw this afternoon, or maybe not. Almost looked like we were going to have a situation with 2 or 3 cars, but everybody choosing sanity on that occasion. This is the view from the man behind. Of course, you'd only see this situation in a virtual situation. If we had a Red Bull fighting an RB, then Christian Horner would have been on the phone quite some time ago. We're saying pit window would be lap 12 to 15. Is that for the soft runners, I'm guessing? Sure, the mediums are going to have to go a little further. Of course, most of the field is on the medium compound. We've got 3 drivers on the hard and 4 drivers on the soft. The rest of the drivers all going for the medium compound, so that is the popular choice, and that is the choice of your leader. Ooh, that got very close. Convoy going as late as he can on the brakes. He had an RB just in front of him. That's Revolution a lap behind. And he almost went into the back of that RB and cost himself a wing. Convoy pitting very, very early on in the race. He's going on to the hard set of tyres. I think this is going to be to the end of the race. Going to be a pretty lengthy marathon. Of course, if we get a pit stop at any stage, he'll be able to come in, put on a better set of tyres than those hards. Might be hoping for a safety car. Not hoping for a safety car is this man here. Everything going his way at the moment. Just matching Convoy. Now all of a sudden, he no longer has Convoy on his rear wing. He's able to get on with it, able to just concentrate on his laps. Try and be as consistent as possible. No point in scoring one quick lap, messing up the next. It's all about consistency, putting that fast lap in time and time again. And that's what he needs to do. It's that phase of the race. Visor, you asked for one. And EA has provided you with. Safety car out on lap 10 of 36. We have our first retirement from the 18 that started. We're down to 17. And the pit lane is about to become very busy. A lot of cars there already exiting the pits. He's saying hards to the end. Of course, this works out. If you went and made a pit stop just before that safety car, Some other drivers may have been able to utilize the safety car a little bit better than you. Field gets a little mixed up after the safety car. Doesn't necessarily start in the same order as when the safety car was applied. Of course, if that safety car comes out and you're able to react to it immediately because the pit lane is not far away, you get a much bigger advantage than if that safety car gets announced when you're heading off into turn 1. Then you have to do an entire lap slowly. Because when that safety car does get called, you want to be as close to the pit entry as possible. A whole lot of cars coming into the pits now, and for most of them they're going to be able to hold on to track position because all their opponents are driving around much slower than they'd like to. Everybody coming into the pits now, and it looks like Weeze had said hards to the end. It looks like everybody is on a set of hards. Of course, a few drivers out of sync. Whoever wakes on the hard tyre, but those are 10 laps old. He started on those tyres. Pretty much everybody else has made a pit stop at some point in the race. Nobody on the same set of tyres they started on, with the exception of that Sauber in P11. And of course, every single lap under the safety car that you wait to make that decision, do I pit, don't I pit, the field gets closer and closer together, and you make that pit stop a lap too late, you find yourself at the rear of the field. And everyone watching, come on, only 50% of you have liked the video. If you haven't liked the video, remember to leave a like, it helps the channel out. Make sure that we appear on more people's YouTube front page. Big T leads the way from Convoy. Race has just been neutralized. It was a very close, exciting race at the start. Things started to spread out. Gaps started to form in places. Safety car has come out, cancelled everything. Basically everyone now on a set of hards and looking to go to the end of the race. So if we don't see any more safety cars, and if we don't see drivers getting damage, I think the pit lane is going to be pretty quiet until the end of the race. Big T is going to lead from Convoy, then Divan. That's going to be your restart. Restart's so important. So easy to make a mistake on that restart. I think if you're the leader, you're really focused, but sometimes if you just find yourself towards the rear of the field, going around slowly for 3 laps in a row, sometimes you can just lose a little bit of concentration. Seen drivers go through an entire race having absolutely no problem with turn 1 and then completely missing their brake marker on a restart into that corner. So while you're going a lot slower than you'd like to be going, you need to be as awake as ever. When we do get a notification of the safety car coming in, and there it is, safety car will be in this lap. That means the leader, Big T, he's just going to slow up as much as he can, let that safety car go around the banked corner, get himself into the pits. The moment the safety car passes that pit lane entry, then Big T becomes the safety car, preliminary safety car. For a short period of time, he decides when the field can go. He can go around that banked corner, or he can leave it right to the start finish line. Left it late, not as late as possible. He's done a good job on the restart, keeps Convoy behind him. Divan P3. So it looks like everybody went through that first sequence of corners in order, nobody trying anything too illustrious. Then we've got Spikes in P5, Andre P6, then Harsh Cartoon P7, Top Gun P8. We've got a caution flashing on our screens, and now I'm getting a little bit of PTSD. We've just had a safety car. If we get another one, we don't need it anytime soon. Levy becomes the second retirement of the race. Luckily that didn't trigger anything for us. That is a DNF for the Sauber driver. Just a reminder to all the drivers, I know retiring from a race can be very annoying, but we ask that everybody stays in the lobby if it is possible. We have seen instances many times on this game where someone leaves the lobby and it lands up costing someone else a race. So now we get another incident. I think that was a Red Bull we saw going sideways. That's Spikes, he's falling down the order. Of course, it's the last time you want to be making a mistake. It's just after a safety car. The field is so close together. A mistake that in another scenario you may have lost a position, but find yourself losing a whole handful. Welcome Dixie Killer. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to SKR on a Sunday evening. Way to finish off a weekend. In fact, I've got a lot of fast drivers in the comment section. What are they doing in the comment section and not on the tarmac? Not sure. But it's always good to have them. Switch to Divan and we see a big lockup from Convoy just ahead of him. These three drivers, they'll be pushing to their limits, giving it absolutely everything, leaving nothing on the table. And that's when you're at the most risk of a mistake. You feel like you're already on the limit, but you just see that car ahead of you getting away slowly, lap after lap. You feel like you need to find something more. And that's what we call driving over the limit. That's where most mistakes happen. And these two, they're pushing each other all the way. Lap 15. These cars haven't been more than a second apart. P1, P2, they've both led the race. They've both been in P2. They've traded positions into turn 1 on multiple occasions. But the race is still very, very far from decided. I said at the beginning of the race something of concern was penalties. I've seen lots of penalties on this race circuit in the past. For now, everybody doing a fantastic job. Just Revolution in the penalties column. He's at the rear of the field in P16. As for the other 15 drivers, good job so far. Can be a tricky race circuit, especially with all these banked corners. Sometimes you just go too high on a corner. Of course, some of these drivers will already be on warnings on the way to a penalty. We don't have access to that. So we don't know. Some of them will have no warnings and they'll be feeling pretty comfortable. Others, well, they'll be on their toes. Convoy leads the way, and look how close that is. That's what a tenth of a second looks like on a race circuit. Can almost reach out and touch that McLaren. Convoy leads from Big T. Divan, we haven't forgotten about him, have we? Looked like he was getting further and further away, but I think these two just went wheel to wheel a little bit too long, and it's brought the Sauber back into the equation. Divan P3 very close to... Ooh, very, very close. Has a big lockup. He's able to save it. That could have turned out very badly, but the Sauber is able to keep momentum. Caution flashes across our screen. I think that is the RB just going slowly in Sector 2, but he's back on his way. So it's still Convoy, Big T, Divan, then it's Faree. It's a little further back in a bit of a race of his own. He's not able to stay with the top 3, but he's able to do enough to stay ahead of the Aston Martin. Andre's in P5. Then the top performing Ferrari. Remember, those are your championship leaders in the constructors title. Two Ferraris now just P6 and P10, so still a lot of work for them to do. Their biggest opponents, P9 and 11, so Red Bull with just the one car in the points. Not a particularly good night for both of those teams. While it's not the frustration of a full safety car, drivers will still get annoyed. Virtual safety car has been called. That's our third retirement. That is the retirement of Revolution. He was at the rear of the field, one lap adrift. He has since retired. It has triggered a virtual safety car. Difference between this and a full safety car is obviously the safety car doesn't come out on circuit. Everybody is just expected to drive within a delta. Almost an average lap. But they won't have to worry about that much more because the virtual safety car is over. Conboy, Divan, Big T now finds himself in P3. We didn't see what happened, but he's lost 2 positions. He was leading the race. Looked quite happy at the front of that field. But something has gone very wrong. Revolution, he did decide to leave the lobby. Hopefully everything stays stable. Conboy at the front, Divan P2, now Big T, the man in P3. He was at the front for so long. He's not going to like this at all. Now Conboy. Conboy makes a mistake, goes wide, visits the gravel. That allows Big T to come right back into it. And he doesn't want to wait. He doesn't want to wait. He doesn't want to drive behind that Salber for any longer than he needs to. He wants to get past him immediately. That's what he tried to do on that last corner. Nothing you can do around this chicane. Start preparing for the most important part of the race circuit. Make sure you get as close as you can in this banked corner. When you open up DRS, you want to be within 5-6 tenths of a second. That's going to be close enough. He is close enough. It's 3 tenths of a second. Does he go to the inside? He does go to the inside, but he does not finish the pass. Divan leads the way. Big T in P2 defending from Conboy. And I can't say enough about these 3 names. It's Ferrari in P4 having a solid race, just not able to keep up with those top 3. Then Harsh Cartoon with a bit of a DRS train forming behind him. He's followed by Pandry Star, Smurf, Spikes, Virus, Mr. Rem. Those are your top 10. Then Boinkies, just on the other side of the top 10, knocking on the door, looking to get into the points. Tell you, if drivers do start stacking up penalties in the second half of the race, then keep your eyes on the second McLaren, because that's a driver that does not pick up penalties very often. At the front, nothing has changed, except the leader. The 3 cars that are there, well, they're the same 3 cars that have been there since the start. Big T, Conboy, Divan, your top 3, all 3 have had an opportunity to lead this race. But it's not how many times you lead the race or for how long you lead the race. That doesn't count for anything. The only thing that counts is who's leading the race when the checkered flag falls. So it's orange, pink and green. Rather papaya, but I'm going to say orange. Have another caution flashing across our screens. Quickly look to the track map. I think that was a McLaren that just left the track briefly. It may have been Boinkies, because it certainly isn't Big T. He's out front, ahead of the Alpine, giving Conboy a real handful, saying if you want to win this race, well, you're going to work for it. You're going to work real hard. You're going to have to dig deep into your pockets. Find everything you've got. Put it on the table. And if it's enough, well, then maybe you can beat me. But anything less than that, you're not getting past. Big T out front. Conboy still P2. Divan. No challenges on the straight this time round. Everybody into turn 1 in order. It's Ferrari still behind in P4. Virus and Harsh Cartoon, are they trading places? Yes, they are. Wonder if that had anything to do with team orders, but it looked like they traded places. And Spikes almost jumped in on the action. I think he's still trying to jump in on the action. He was side by side with Harsh Cartoon, but what happened to Spikes? Spikes has fallen adrift. I wonder if there was any contact between those cars. No visible damage on the Red Bull. Maybe just a bit of a tyre smack. Put that Red Bull off. He's lost a second in a very short amount of time. So clearly there was some sort of a nudge. Or maybe he just got some wheels on the grass and had to take the foot off the throttle. Lost some momentum. Sometimes you get on the grass and you just can't stay on the power. You know, if you do, well, you already know what the result will be. Big T. Now, he's got the biggest advantage he's had in the race. Gap still within DRS. But 6/10 into turn 1. This is pretty much the biggest it's been. It was 8/10 at the beginning of DRS. It's getting dangerously close to falling over that 1 second barrier. Convoy can't let that happen. If he wants to challenge for this race win, the first thing he needs to do is stay within a second. Of course, Divan was able to keep up with these two really well. But you need to look at the tyre situation. He's the only car there in the top 3 on a set of mediums, and they're not exactly fresh mediums. 11 laps on that set of mediums. So that was a early pit stop for him. That means those mediums will fall away, and all the drivers around him on the hard tyre, the track will come to them. Fortunately for Divan, he does have a large gap down to P4. He's able to stay out of the penalties column. Can definitely get a podium out of this, but he wants more. He wants more than a podium. He wants a win. Of course, if you do want that win, I said it not so long ago and I'll say it again. For now, your objective has to be stay within DRS. The moment you fall out of that battle, things are going to go in the other direction. Speaking of DRS, Big T has officially broken it. Convoy now 1.3, 1.4 seconds adrift. This is what happens. Sometimes people don't get that full effect of DRS. You think DRS is just there to help you make overtakes. It does so much in the race. If the driver ahead of you is 3 or 4 tenths quicker than you every single lap on race pace, if you're within his DRS, it really makes no difference. That 3 or 4 tenths, he's just going to tow you around, and every time you open up your back wing, you cancel out his advantage. But once you break that DRS, his advantage starts to become very evident. Thank you, Visor, for keeping the comment section going, keeping it busy. Welcome to Disguised. I didn't see you in the comment section, so welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Got 12 laps to go in this Dutch Grand Prix at the Circuit Zandvoort. And as we saw not so long ago, just this afternoon, just a couple of hours ago, we've got a McLaren dominating at the front. It's not a 20-second gap, just 2.5 seconds between him and the man in P2. Convoy has since come into the pits and picked up a penalty. He's now down in P7. I don't want to say it, I want to get confirmation of it first, but I'm hoping it's not. It is. So not only has he picked himself up a track penalty, that is a 3-second penalty for track limits, he's also picked himself up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And at this late stage in the race, I don't expect him to make another pit stop, so those seconds will all be added on to his race time. And it really just hurts. When you're in a good position in a race, you're fighting for position. You look at the timesheet, you see that penalty, you get reminded you're going to finish nowhere near the man you're challenging. Mr. Rem. He is the second Red Bull. Crucially, both Ferraris in the points. Both Red Bulls in the points. Red Bulls would love to be a little bit higher up because they are officially the challenging team. They are the team in P2. Ferrari leads the way, 140 points. Red Bull, just 120. They could really have done with a 1-2 at this circuit. That would be the best case scenario. Second best case scenario would be the Ferraris finishing outside the points or retiring. Neither of those have happened. And Mr. M needs to take full advantage. He's currently in P10. It's just a 1 point. But he's got two drivers here very close in front of him, Smurf and Pantry Star. If he's able to make up those two positions, every single point in this championship will count. And at the end, if you know you gave a point away and that point lands up costing you a championship, well, it will haunt you for a very long time. Visits Ferrari. Didn't look like he was going to get a podium tonight. He just didn't look like he had the pace to stay with the top three. But now with that convoy pit stop and the penalties that he added next to his name, Ferrari can just keep this car on track, keep up the continuous pace. While he hasn't been the quickest on track, he's been consistent. He was in P4 for a majority of the race. Didn't see him falling down the order. He's just kept it clean, kept the car facing in the right direction. And as a result of the misfortunes around him, he may still get a podium out of this night. As for Big T, is he taking it easy? He most definitely is not. Still increasing the gap to the man behind. The man behind is now Divan. Of course, he was in P3 for much of the race. He has now been promoted to P2 as a result of that convoy pit stop. Of course, Divan has also led the race. It was brief, but he can say he led the race tonight. Don't know if he's going to be able to do anything about Big T up the road. Ever since Convoy left this battle, Big T has just pulled off. Ever since he broke DRS, the gap has accelerated at an alarming rate. But it's not over. Still a lot of laps to go. Still a lot can happen. Still a lot can go wrong. Of course, Murray Walker, famous F1 commentator for many, many years, the voice of Formula One, had some pretty interesting sayings. Some of them weren't quite right, but they were always entertaining. And I remember Murray Walker saying at a race that Formula One was if spelt backwards. Now it's not, but I guess I know what he was saying. Of course, when coming up with the name Formula One, there were three other options on the table. I can tell you, they weren't very good. Lap 29 of 36. Go down to Harsh Cartoon. He's down in P6. Then Pantry Star. We're actually looking for a DRS battle. This is the only DRS battle on the circuit. It's a battle for P7. It's a battle between a Haas and a Mercedes. Pantry Star versus Smurf. At the moment, Smurf's got the DRS, but he doesn't have the pace. Doesn't go to the inside, doesn't attack, just accepts his position for now. He's going to try and drive behind that Mercedes a little longer, force a mistake. But you can't be forcing a mistake when you make a mistake of your own. Just locks up. He's lucky to hold on to the horse. Does a good job. Sometimes, especially when you're in a battle, you make a little mistake like that and you're so desperate to get back on the power. You can see that driver's going to get away from you. You've been battling so hard, you're desperate, you get on the power a little too early and the car's having nothing of it. And the next thing you know, you're facing in the wrong direction. Divan can't do anything about the leader, but what a race he's had. Convoy made that pit stop, and while making that pit stop, he picked up a penalty. He has since made another pit stop. He's now down in P12 on a new set of mediums. Of course, if he thought he would go in, put on a fresh set of tires and steal the fastest lap, well, he doesn't have the fastest lap right now. He still needs to do step 1, get the fastest lap. Step 2, make sure you're in the top 10, or you don't get that bonus point for fastest lap. Of course, only applies. He's done step 1. I think he's listening. Convoy gets step 1 right. He does. He goes into the pits, puts on a new set of tires, predictably gets the fastest lap of the race. And there's a caution. And my commentary pauses briefly as I look up at the screen in anticipation. It's gone from a flashing caution to a solid caution in sector 3. Hopefully that's all it will be. Don't see any evidence on the pit exit of anything else. And I don't think a yellow dot is going to appear on our track map. I think we might have just got away with that, because a safety car at this late stage would cause havoc to those final results. All sorts of retirements happening now. Skull retires from the race. Remember, we started with 18, down to just the 12 runners. We've lost 6 drivers in this race. And while I don't wish any misfortune on any of the drivers, I really do hope all of those DNFs were driver incidents. I hope nobody's been forced to DNF from this race because of a connection or a lobby issue. I've seen it one too many times. Not only on this league, but on all the leagues we broadcast. Of course, it's all the same game, so it's got all the same problems. Big T, you won't be thinking of any of those problems. He's got a 13-second lead, trying to emulate the likes of Lando Norris, who finished in Zandvoort 20 seconds up the road. Don't think he's going to be able to do that. He's going to have to find another 7 seconds in the next 4 laps. And I don't think he's going to be pushing that hard right at the end. Wakes P12, Andre P11. Said step 1 was get the fastest lap. Step 2 was make sure you're in the top 10. Convoy did step 1, and now he's completed step 2 because of a handful of retirements. So Convoy currently in P10. It's only worth the 1 point, but he's got the fastest lap, so he'll get himself a bonus point. He'll go up to 2. He does have the superior tyre, and he'll be looking to get up the road. I think the only car he can catch is Top Gun. It's 1.7 seconds up the road. Everybody else is going to be a little bit too far away. I think best case scenario for Convoy is a P9, but he's still got a lot of work before he can make that a reality. Big T 15.9 seconds, 0.9 seconds at the front. Maybe he's listening to the stream. I said he couldn't do the Lando Norris 20 seconds. Maybe he's taken it as a challenge. The gap is 15.6 seconds at the front. Divan and it's free. Those medium tires, eventually, I think he's starting to feel them. Free has come from P4, where he was for a majority of the race. He had a really consistent race. Wasn't able to hold on to the leaders. Didn't let that bother him too much. Didn't try and overdrive the car. Just stuck to the plan. And as Convoy came into the pits, had some misfortune with a penalty. And then Divan just really being on the wrong tyre at the wrong time means it's free. He's not only going to get a podium, but it could be a P2. First of all, he's got to hold on to that, because the Sauber is still within DRS. If you haven't left a like on the video, I presume you're driving. If you're not driving, shame on you. Convoy did get the best result possible. I said his best possible result would probably be a P9. Everybody else would be a little bit too far up the road. Pantry Star is now the car up the road, and he's 10.9 seconds up the road with just 2 laps to go. So I don't think it's going to be possible for Top Gun to get anything higher than P9 unless we have some very late misfortunes. It's lap 34 of 36, so we're now in the safe zone. We cannot have any more safety cars at this stage. It's too late. It's going to come down to what you can do on the racetrack. There's going to be no more rolling of the dice. This is where it all comes to an end. Andre comes into the pits from P11. Going to presume he had damage on that car. Those mediums aren't too old. He's come out on a set of softs. He's not going to be able to catch Top Gun up the road from him. And if he does hit the fastest lap, he's not going to be able to keep the point. But what it will do is steal a potential point from a championship challenger. So if you've ever wondered, as a driver outside the top 10, he comes into the pits for softs to steal the fastest lap when he's not even going to get the point for it. Well, there's the reason. You might not get a point, but at least you can steal a point from one of your potential rivals. And when it comes to the final round, that point could be the point. Point that makes the difference between winning the championship and being the runner-up. It's P1 where you want to finish. Seldom is remembered. A strong position to finish in P2, but people often don't remember. I can name you all the world champions off the top of my head since 1980, but if you ask me to do the same thing with the runner-up, well, I don't think I'm going to get very far. Big T leads the way from its Ferrari, 16.8 seconds. So he actually got awfully close to that 20-second mark we saw earlier on, but he's just going to run out of tarmac. Maybe if he had another 2 laps, he would have been able to do it. Of course, in the initial stages of the race, he was having a very difficult race. Convoy giving him all sorts of trouble. He was only really able to lean on the car, put the pace in. Once he got clear of that battle, you're always looking in your mirrors. You always have that slight little bit of your concentration thinking about the car behind. And then at the end, he was able to put everything into his pace. And what a finish. Big T wins in Zandvoort by 17.1 seconds. It's Ferrari, not too far behind. He's going to be happy with a P2. It was a great P2. And it was an example of consistency can sometimes beat pace. Taiwan over the line in P3. He'll be cursing those medium tyres. Just wish they had a little bit more life in them. If they had given him another 2 or 3 laps, he might have been able to hold on to P2. But I think he will be happy with a podium regardless. Very few penalties in the field. Great to see. Not only do we have fast drivers, we have quality drivers. And of course, a couple of aliens at the top. Still waiting for a few drivers to come over the line. One of those drivers is Andre. He made a very late pit stop. for the soft tyre. And there we go, folks. That is Sunday night with SKR. Of course, we're now just going to await your official results. I'm going to have to read through them really quickly. Harsh Cartoon picks up the driver of the day. The stream is not broken. I've just muted because F1 is very greedy. So we don't have a lot of time. Let's get through the order. Big T took the victory. It's free, proving consistency can be key. Finishes in P2, then Divan, strong race. He even led the race at a point. Finished in P3. Then Virus P4, Spikes P5. Always get confused between those two names. Harsh Cartoon P6, Pantry Star P7, Smurf P8, Top Gun P9, and Convoy picking up the final point, as well as the bonus point for fastest lap, so he'll get 2 points. No points on the night for Andre P11, Awakes P12, Skull 13. Rather, there is a whole lot of retirements, so make it rather Andre P11, Awakes P12, and then the DNF column, Skull, Boinkies, Mr. M, Revolution, Lebby, and the first man to go was Ulrich. Of course, the driver of the day was Harsh Cartoon. The top three are Big T, It's Free, and Divan. Those 4 drivers are invited to the cool-down room. And of course, I always say if any other driver would like to join the cool-down room, we can bring you into the comms box. So long as there's no fighting before you come into the comms box, otherwise things are going to become very animated. We're just going to give it a minute or two to see if anybody does decide to join. Of course, you can join in the Discord, the NFR channel. We'll find the cool-down room. And then from the cool-down room, I'll be able to bring you into the comms box. And I'll have a little chat about the events that have just happened. Okay, there we go, and I'm just waiting to see if anybody else comes in. We do have Big T in the cool-down room, but he's all by himself in the cool-down room. Something I was interested in doing, in introducing to the channel, is as we interview the drivers, maybe just having 2 or 3 minutes where we leave them in the cool-down room and broadcast what they have to say. I think it could be quite interesting to hear the driver's perspective when they're in a little bit more of a relaxed environment. Also, just Big T in the cool-down room. I don't know if anyone else is joining. We'll bring Big T in. If anybody else does decide to join, we'll bring them in as they arrive. Why does Big T not want to join? I'm trying. But there we go. I think it worked. Yes, I think it worked this time. Big T, are you with us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think everybody at home can hear you as well. So tonight, Zandvoort, tell me a little bit about it. Of course, beginning of the race, very different to the end of the race. You had your hands full at the beginning.
Yeah, no. Shame. I know you guys wanted a 1:08 quali time. I tried to give it to you guys, but I lost 2/10 in the final corner with the mistake. Yeah, no, the start was tough. I knew it was going to be tough with the DRS. I knew if I could get out of it, it'll be fine. I managed to, and then the safety car came out. I think after there's a few laps after that where I think I fell down to third. Um, and over them, so it went on. So yeah, no, it paid off. Convoy eventually fell out of the DRS, and then from there it was just managing my own race. I was making a couple of mistakes at the end because I was watching the stream while I was racing, and then whenever I looked at the stream, I was running wide or some stuff like that.
Okay, so
But
so you were
otherwise,
so you
all
were
good.
listening at the end. You did hear my Lando challenge. Uh, did did you
No,
hear
no, I
my?
didn't hear that.
You
Sorry.
didn't hear my Lando challenge. I was saying that
No.
McLaren was leading as it was a few hours ago, but Lando won the race by 20 seconds. And
Uh,
I think when I said it, you were on 13, and I said, no, he's not going to get there. And then at the end, you almost got the 20 seconds. So I thought you were listening because I was like, he's trying to prove me wrong. So,
so, so now I stopped watching the race, I think at lap 65 or 68,
oh,
somewhere
okay.
there. And I think then the gap was 15 seconds. So I was trying to match the gap, but I didn't know what the end time was.
And
So then I
look,
just carried on pushing.
that was quite the race this afternoon, and I think it was the race Lando Norris really needed because he
Yeah,
got that victory in Miami. There was an upgrade for Miami. He won the Miami race, and then he just hasn't won ever since. In the meantime, his teammates picked up a victory, so I think he needed to win a race and also to beat his teammate comprehensively, and he did both today. So I think it was exactly what he needed, and of course it's straight into a triple header. So I think they're going to are they going to Monza next week?
I think so. I'm
We
not
follow the
entirely sure.
F1 calendar and we're finishing off in Monza. So I presume F1 is in Monza next week. So
Uh,
home of the
yeah,
Tifosi.
yeah. And, well, look, McLaren, I do think I have the fastest car, so I don't. There's no excuse for them not to win. Um, We'll have to see what happens. I do think it'll be very interesting. I do think they have the constructors wrapped up. As for drivers, it all depends how well Red Bull can maximize the damage limitation. Um, but I don't know. They seem to be struggling. A lot of speculation about that brake inertial valve type thing. But we'll see. At least F1 is interesting again. You
I
know.
don't know. I don't think they've gotten slower. I just think the rest have gotten quicker, and the updates they have brought haven't worked. So
Yeah.
Red Bull need to do something in the second half of the season. I think they can
I
hold
think
on
it
to the
is.
drivers. It would take something pretty extreme. It would take like Max to retire in a few races and Norris to win them. But
Yeah.
in the constructors, I don't see Red Bull winning it. I think it would be a miracle if they hold on to it. Perez would have to come out of nowhere and start performing in a car that Max is struggling in. So I don't know how much, I don't know
Yeah.
if we can expect double podiums from the Red Bulls.
No, I don't think that anytime soon. I do think that 2025 is going to be very interesting. I'm excited to see that.
That's going to
But
be
also, as
sorry.
yeah,
I think 2025 is going to be very interesting, especially on the development, because how much development are the teams going to be doing, knowing that all the development they're doing is going to have absolutely nothing to do with next year's car. So, like all the development you do now, it can help you towards the 2025 car going forward. But in 2025, all those developments you make, they're not going to do anything to your 2026 campaign. So, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be like the final season of an era, and
yeah, no, definitely, definitely.
I'm looking forward to 2026 because I saw Audi join the World Endurance Championship, and everyone was like, are you joking? This is this is not Audi territory, and they went there and they dominated for years and years. And
Exactly.
the only thing that ended their dominance was another VW brand, which is quite weird.
Yeah,
Porsche ended their run at the top, and they're owned by the same company. So I think VW really knows what they're doing, but they have no presence in F1. They belong in F1. We'll have them in 2026. Before we go,
yeah, no, and yes,
do you know VW has a presence in MotoGP?
no. I did not know that.
That is
I don't
correct.
follow MotoGP a lot. I watched it a little bit back in 2021, 2022. I don't follow it that much to know that much inside about it.
Volkswagen
Yeah.
owns Ducati.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool.
So, so Volkswagen are technically in Formula One, and that's why the Ducati riders have an Audi Sport logo on their chest.
Hmm.
So, but I think they own 13 or 14 different car brands. So,
Yeah, I know Volkswagen owns everything
I
almost.
mean,
Literally.
I think the only thing they don't have is a Ferrari. I think they own Maserati, they own Lamborghini. Italian people will be really
Yeah.
angry at how I pronounce
I
those,
mean,
but yeah,
to, to be honest, if they want to own Ferrari, they must just own Fiat, and then they got Ferrari. Yeah,
no, no,
pretty much.
it's actually quite crazy when you think of like Fiat and Ferrari, and if you're thinking about road cars, and then somebody tells you no, the Fiat actually owns the Ferrari. But I think there's
Yeah,
even more shocking examples. I mean, Tata owns Jaguar, so
yeah. Oh, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the race, though.
I
I
I
tried to make it
enjoyed
a
it.
nice one.
I enjoyed it in the comments box. I think the guys in the comment section enjoyed it too. So thanks for joining me in the comms box, and hope to speak to you again soon.
Sorry, I don't know. Yeah.
Did you not hear me?
Sorry, I know you're breaking up on my side. I don't know if it's me or
Oh, sorry about that. I was just
what's happening.
saying thanks very much for joining the comms box. I appreciate it, and I hope to see
No,
you in here again.
yeah, no, definitely, 100%.
So to
Yeah,
everyone on the okay, Big T, I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to end the stream. So thanks very much for joining, and
no
yeah, I
problem.
hope to see more of that sort of
Good
driving
night.
from you. Always enjoy it. Cheers, man.
Awesome. Thanks. Good night, man.
To everyone who's still watching, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you very much for watching all the way through. It really means a lot to the channel just to see the same people coming back every night supporting the channel. And it also gives me a little bit of confidence that I'm not that bad of a commentator. Otherwise, people would stop coming back or they'd ask me to just mute my mic. So, to everyone in the comment section, Visor, Citizen, Dixie Killer, Disguised, Wheeze, Death Queen, Skull, everybody here, thank you very much for joining. If you haven't left a like, please remember to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will be back on Thursday night for DRS. But until then, thank you everybody and cheers.